There's a moment in early spring where the garden begins to shift. The seedlings, once small and tentative under lights, are ready to move on, to stretch, to root deeper, to take their next step. Welcome to PDX Garden Home here in Portland, Oregon, where I garden in this driveway space tucked between the hills. Today, we'll spend some time at the potting bench, giving peppers and eggplants a bit more room to grow before they make their way outside in the weeks ahead. And out here in the garden, the work continues. The retaining wall slowly taking shape. Steadily, the foundation is being laid. So come along and let's garden. Well, I am working on potting up some peppers here, and these are going to go back under the lights, so I'm going to be using a lot of potting mix into bigger pots. Now, I could put them in these really larger ones, and I debated that, but I decided not to because I want to conserve space under my lights in the garage. So that's the only reason I'm keeping it to a smaller size pots, which I'm looking for here. There we go. I'm gonna do these guys here. So about 4-inch pots, I guess, 3.5. So I mean that'll go for a little while, and then these things will want more. I also got this is actually stevia here. So I've got peppers here, and then I've got some stevia. All of these were planted from seed. Many of you may have seen me do that in prior videos, and now it's time to pot up. It's still, we are at the end of March here. It's still good 30, 45 days, I'd say 45 to 60 days away before these would be ready to go outside. We shall see how the weather goes. Okay, I was going to do the stevia first. So here with this stevia, I've got two seedlings in one cell. So as I'm potting up, this is a opportune time to kind of separate those and see if I can end up with more. Okay. What do I have here? Shishito peppers. I love these. I'm just kind of enjoying having my fingers in the potting mix, so I am not gloving up for this exercise. The potting mix it's like a little bit moist but not super wet, so I'll water these when I'm done, but makes it just nice to put my fingers in. This is the moment where I sometimes lose track because I'm too lazy to create labels for every single one of these individual pots. And so I try to I'll have the shishitos and I'll put it together and have a system, and then I lose track of that and then forget which thing is which. But it becomes evident once they start producing peppers. I know the difference between a jalapeno and a shishito. Now, I have found that I can bury the stems of a pepper plant, but my understanding is that they are not, and I don't know the term, but they don't have the same properties as a tomato plant. You may know that if you bury a tomato plant down deep, it will grow roots on its stems. I see that happen a little bit to some extent, but not at the same rate or at the same level with pepper plants. And so I don't plant them. I don't plant the peppers deep in order to try to establish better root systems or anything like that. The only time I might plant the peppers deep here is if my lighting wasn't working well and they were too leggy. Then I might plant them deep just because I don't need it to be that tall. I want it to be more bushy, less tall. So then I might plant it deep at this stage, and then also the other thing you can do to make your plants more bushy is to trim the tops. I'm not particularly excited about doing that right now at this stage. They're not super tall, so I'm not going to clip the tops off to try to make them more bushy right now. This potting stuff up is really going to take a toll on my potting soil. It's going to use all my potting soil up, so I'll probably have to go get some more. And I was so happy with myself for getting this potting soil on sale. I'm going to be sad when I have to pay full price for more potting soil. So I ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 15 shishito plants there. I've got 2 more here in this cell tray. And I think that's all I'll have time for now. So I will have to pause this activity and come back to it. It's getting into the evening. I got to go take care of some evening errands. So I'll have to get back to it tomorrow. What didn't I do here? I've got some Anaheims and some Padron peppers. So looking forward to getting those potted up tomorrow. And I'll see you back here for that, I'm sure. Okay. Okay, I am back at it, and I am now today gonna pot up some eggplants. These are looking a little bit weird. I think this looks like maybe some kind of flea damage or something. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what would be getting at it. This was from in the greenhouse, or not the greenhouse, the garage. I don't have a greenhouse these days. I used to have one, so I'm used to saying that. But okay, so not sure exactly what that is, but I feel like I've seen my eggplants get weird before, and then they've kind of outgrown the weirdness and been okay long term. So I'm gonna carry forward with this. The variety of eggplants that I'm planting, I have 2 types. One is called is just a long purple kind of Asian eggplant. The other one is the Rosa Bianca, which is this nice kind of round one that has purple shoulders on it and kind of white, and looks stunning, I think, actually. So let's do it. Now, eggplants, whether I actually get a crop or not, I mean, they need a ton of heat. And so I mentioned when I had a greenhouse, when I did have a greenhouse, I used to actually grow them in pots in the greenhouse, and that worked well. But here, I don't have a place to like grow them in long standing heat. And yes, it'll here in where I'm at in Portland, Oregon, I mean, it'll get to be 100-degree days, but it'll only do that for a few days. That's not what the eggplants need. They don't need a bunch of 100-degree days. Or what they need is kind of sustained in the 80s kind of thing. And that's what we don't really have. It's like we just have this wild weather that'll be in the 70s, and then suddenly we'll have a heat wave where we're in the 90s, and hundreds, but we never have like that perfect weather for stuff like that. You'll hear me complain about that across a variety of crops. I mean, in the spring, I have the same problem. Why don't we have enough 65-degree days for growing nice spring veggies, like lots of Asian greens and things that I want to grow? You know, right now we're in the 40s, and then this weekend it's supposed to be the 70s. So what happened to my 65-degree days? That's how it goes. You adapt. And really, it's fun to, it creates a topic to complain about, but at the end of the day, that adapting is part of what gardening's about. It's part of one of the things that makes gardening thrilling, where it's not the same thing all the time, because every year there's something a little bit different. I don't remember if I discussed this in a prior segment, but the reason I plant in this size, because really I could just pot up to something bigger at this point even, but the reason I plant in this size is to save space while they still have to be in the warm garage under lights. I say the warm garage. Somebody asked in the comments, you know, is the garage heated? It's not, but it does stay warmer than outside. And on those racks there under the lights, I can also put heating pads under there that will keep things a little bit warmer too. And so it is relatively, saying it's a warm garage is a relative statement, not an actual universal descriptor of the garage. My little office workshop is in the garage area, and I have to have a supplemental heater in there during the winter because it isn't for myself, not for the plants. It is not it's not heated. And this soil, which I just put water to because it was totally dry, is slightly damp, but it's not wet enough for new seedlings, so I'm gonna put some more water on them once I'm done here. Well, this guy here is relatively small compared to the rest, so I'm gonna consider it a weakling and just get rid of it. More eggplants than I could possibly actually use. So what will happen is some of these will grow on strong, some will not be as good. I'll get a choice of what to keep, what to let die off, and then maybe I'll still have some extras to give away. Okay. Now I'm on to planting the Rosa Bianca variety of eggplants here. I've got 3 slots left in my tray for those. Okay. I think, you know, I like this seeding mix, but in terms of potting up, I'm thinking what I might do is I might get something that's more of a potting mix for potting up instead of using the seeding mix for potting up. We'll see if I get out to the store and grab something like that. I'm just thinking that, yeah, that way I can save the fine texture of the seeding mix for seeds. Okay, so now I'm doing another round of peppers, and these peppers are Thai chili peppers, kind of a generic. These will be kind of the small, usually red, sometimes purple, but I think these ones are red. These will be the small red chili peppers. I like these Thai chili peppers as a decorative, really. I might eat some or make a hot sauce out of them, but I don't actually. I more commonly make a hot sauce out of jalapenos, and I'm not the kind that eats hot peppers just straight out or fresh or anything like that. So yeah, I like the look of them in the garden is the primary reason for growing them more than eating. Okay, it's really pouring on me here. I am potting up the Jimmy Nardolo peppers. These are precious to me because these I like to eat fresh. I'll just eat them in the garden, or I like to cook them, have them with dinners. So these are eating peppers. I wish I planted more. I only got, it looks like less than 12 here of those compared to all the other things that I have. So I'm going to pot all of these up right now. So I got 10 of the Jimmy Nardolos, which is a lot, but relative to the amount I'm planting of other things, not as much as I want. Or what I should say is the amount, there's a disproportional relationship between what I actually will eat and how many I planted and the number of things I'm planting of other things. Not necessarily the best well-planned, but I don't know, do you have that problem in your gardens where you just end up planting a lot of something, even if it's not your main thing? My next pepper here is the Anaheim, which is another one that I will eat. This one I usually pick when it's still green, and it's a bigger pepper. I like to eat it. I like to char it. I don't really eat it fresh. I like to cook it in dishes or char it. Wow, those roots are great. Perfect. This one's really ready to go, ready to pot up. No doubt about it here. Okay, that's the Anaheim peppers, and that's the tray ready to go back into the garage under the lights.
Sun's barely up, mug on the step, steam curling, boots in the mud, breath-making clouds in the morning, row after row, seeds like secrets in my pocket, push them down slow, whisper a hope in each socket. Hands in the dirt, dreams under fingernails, sweat on my shirt, love in the details. Someday this patch of ground will feed more than just me. I'm growing a garden big enough for family. Rain in the drum, kids in the doorway laughing, wind starts to hum. We keep on weeding and grafting, save all the jars, line them up like little sunsets, planning so far for the plates we haven't set yet. Hands in the dirt, dreams under fingernails, sweat on my shirt.
A bit more room for the plants, a bit more structure in the garden, and slowly it all begins to take shape. Thanks for gardening with me today, and I'll see you in the next video.